Imagine darkness. Not the darkness of night, where shadows still hold shape and starlight hints at form. No, this is the darkness of a world without witnesses. A world where life exists, but cannot see itself. For 3 billion years, Earth's oceans teemed with invisible choreography. Bacteria swirled in ancient currents. Soft-bodied creatures glided across microbial mats, grazing blindly on the living carpets below. There were no eyes to catch the glint of movement, no hunters scanning the water column, no prey fleeing in terror. And then, in a geological instant, a mere 20 million years, around 540 million years ago, everything changed. The world opened its eyes, and when it did, an arms race began that would reshape the entire planet. Predators emerged with vision so acute they could track prey through clouded waters. Shells hardened, spines grew. The first complex ecosystems erupted into being, driven by a single, revolutionary innovation: the ability to see. This is the story of the Cambrian Explosion, and at its heart lies a mystery written in calcite and stone: the mystery of the eye. Travel back with me, 541 million years ago. The Cambrian period is just beginning. The supercontinent Rodinia has fractured into smaller landmasses. Gondwana drifts near the South Pole. Laurentia sits closer to the equator. Between them, shallow seas stretch endlessly. Warm, tropical waters bathed in perpetual sunlight, yet paradoxically dim. Oxygen levels hover at only 3 to 10% of modern concentrations. But this modest increase from the suffocating depths of the Precambrian is enough. Enough for something extraordinary. The seafloor is a strange tapestry. No fish yet patrol these waters. No kelp forests sway in the current. Instead, vast microbial mats blanket the mud, living quilts of cyanobacteria that have dominated Earth for eons. Grazing upon them are the Ediacaran holdovers, soft, featureless creatures shaped like quilted pillows and fronds. They are passive, immobile. They have no need for speed, no need for armor, because in their world, there is no such thing as a hunter. But change is stirring in the sediment. Small, shelly organisms are appearing, fragments no larger than grains of sand, tiny tubes, minute plates, the first experiments in biomineralization. And buried in the fossil record of places like South Australia's Flinders Ranges and the mudstones of Yunnan, China, lies evidence of something more: the earliest traces of complexity. Trilobites are beginning to emerge. Arthropods with segmented bodies and jointed limbs. And on their heads, raised above the seafloor like periscopes, are structures that will change everything. Eyes. The trilobite eye is a marvel. Composed entirely of calcite, the same mineral that forms limestone, each eye is a compound array of lenses, sometimes more than 15,000 in a single structure. Unlike our soft, fluid-filled eyes, trilobite lenses were rigid crystals, hexagonally packed like tiles in an ancient mosaic. They could not focus by changing shape. Instead, they evolved an internal doublet structure: 2 layers of calcite with different refractive indices, working together to bend light precisely onto the retina below. Remarkably, some trilobite lenses match optical designs independently discovered by 17th century physicists Descartes and Huygens, mathematical solutions to the same problem of spherical aberration that nature solved 300 million years earlier. These were not simple light sensors. These were sophisticated visual systems capable of detecting motion, estimating distance, and scanning the environment in a broad, kidney-shaped field of view. The earliest trilobites, species like Schmidiellis rete from the Lower Cambrian of Estonia, already possessed fully developed compound eyes around 520 million years ago. They did not evolve gradually from some primitive precursor. They appeared essentially complete, as if vision itself had been waiting in the wings of evolutionary history, ready to take the stage. But trilobites were not alone. Suspended in the water column above them, stalking on undulating body flaps, was a predator unlike anything the world had ever seen. Its name was Anomalocaris. Reaching up to a meter in length, Anomalocaris was the apex predator of the early Cambrian seas. Its body was streamlined, propelled by flexible lobes running along its sides. At the front of its head, two grasping appendages armed with spines reached out like the limbs of some alien machine. And between them, a circular mouth ringed with inward-pointing teeth, ready to pulverize soft-bodied prey. But it was the eyes that made Anomalocaris truly formidable. Perched atop stalks, each eye measured up to 3 centimeters across and contained more than 16,000 individual lenses, rivaling the resolution of a modern dragonfly. These were among the most acute compound eyes ever to exist, granting Anomalocaris near 360-degree vision and exceptional clarity, even in the dim, plankton-hazed waters of the Cambrian Ocean. Genetic studies suggest it may have even possessed dichromatic color vision, allowing it to distinguish between different wavelengths of light. Anomalocaris could see its world with a precision unmatched by any creature before it. And with that vision came a new kind of existence: active predation in the open water. The hunt had begun. Picture this moment. The water is murky with suspended sediment. Shafts of sunlight filter down through the shallows near what will one day become British Columbia, Canada, a site we now call the Burgess Shale. On the seafloor, a trilobite, Olenoides, scuttles across a microbial mat, its compound eyes scanning for threats. Above, a shadow passes. Anomalocaris glides through the water column, its body undulating with rhythmic precision. Its stalked eyes swivel independently, each one processing thousands of simultaneous visual inputs. Movement catches its attention. The trilobite's scurrying form registers as a flicker against the monotonous backdrop of the seafloor. The predator adjusts its trajectory. Flaps along its body beat faster. It descends. The trilobite senses the change, perhaps a shift in water pressure, perhaps the dimming of light as the predator's shadow falls over it. Instinct triggers. The trilobite curls into a defensive ball, its calcite exoskeleton now its only shield. But Anomalocaris is undeterred. Its grasping appendages close around the rolled form. The spiked limbs probe for a weak point. The circular mouth contracts, teeth grinding against armor. And then, a mudslide. Sediment from the steep escarpment nearby cascades down, triggered by tectonic instability. The fine clay engulfs both predator and prey in seconds, burying them in oxygen-depleted ooze. Microbial decay slows. Calcite and pyrite begin to precipitate in the sediment, replicating soft tissues before they can fully decompose. Millions of years later, paleontologists will find them frozen in this moment. Predator and prey, locked in an ancient struggle, preserved with such fidelity that even the outline of gills and gut contents remain visible. This was not an isolated event. Across the Cambrian seas, the emergence of vision ignited an evolutionary arms race. Predators with sharp eyesight, like Anomalocaris, could hunt with unprecedented efficiency. Prey species, in turn, faced intense selection pressure to defend themselves. The fossil record captures this escalation in stunning detail. In the Flinders Ranges of South Australia, researchers recently discovered the oldest known evolutionary arms race. hundreds of tiny shells belonging to Lapworthella fasciculata, a small creature distantly related to brachiopods, dating to 517 million years ago. More than 200 of these shells bear circular holes, evidence of a drilling predator, likely a soft-bodied mollusk or worm. Analyzing the fossils across different geological strata, scientists found that as predation intensity increased, so did the thickness of Lapworthella's shell. The prey evolved thicker armor. The predator evolved the ability to drill through it. Back and forth in a micro-evolutionary duel played out over millions of years. The Cambrian Explosion was not a peaceful flowering. It was an arms race, and vision was the weapon that started it all. Because once one organism could see, everything else had to adapt or die. Shells thickened, spines grew, burrowing became a survival strategy, speed and agility became essential. The soft, passive world of the Ediacaran gave way to the dynamic, predatory ecosystems of the Cambrian. Ecosystems that, for the first time, resembled the oceans we know today. And so, in the span of just 10 to 25 million years, the oceans transformed. By the Middle Cambrian, around 508 million years ago, the Burgess Shale and Chengjiang biotas reveal an astonishing diversity of life. Arthropods dominate, trilobites with their calcite eyes, Anomalocaris with their stalked compound eyes. But there are also worms, sponges, early chordates, and bizarre creatures that defy easy classification. Organisms that experimented with body plans never seen again. Vision had unlocked a cascade of evolutionary innovation. Once predators could see, prey had to hide or fight back. Once organisms could detect threats and opportunities at a distance, behavior became more complex. Ecosystems grew more intricate, niches diversified. And yet, the same mechanism that preserved these ancient communities, those catastrophic mudflows that buried life in anoxic sediment, also reminds us of the fragility of existence. The unique chemistry of the early Paleozoic ocean, with its low sulfate concentrations and oxygen-poor bottom waters, created a taphonomic window that would eventually close. Burrowing organisms would later churn the sediment, preventing the kind of pristine preservation we see in the Burgess Shale and Chengjiang. These fossil deposits are snapshots, brief moments of clarity in an otherwise murky record. The Trilobites, those pioneers of vision, would go on to thrive for nearly 270 million years, diversifying into more than 22,000 known species. Their eyes would continue to evolve. Some species developed enormous lenses for deep-water vision. Others lost their eyes entirely, adapting to life in lightless habitats. Anomalocaris and its kin, the radiodonts, would eventually decline, outcompeted by newer predators, primitive jawed fishes and giant cephalopods. But the legacy of their vision persisted. The compound eye architecture they pioneered can still be seen today in the faceted eyes of dragonflies, bees, and crustaceans. Structures refined over 500 million years, but fundamentally unchanged. Sit with this for a moment. In the grand expanse of Earth's history, 4.6 billion years, the Cambrian Explosion is a heartbeat, a flicker. And yet, in that flicker, the architecture of life as we know it was assembled. Nearly every major animal body plan we see today traces its origins to this narrow window of time. And it all began with the eye. Not because vision was the only driver. There were many forces at play, from rising oxygen levels to genetic innovations like Hox genes. But vision was the catalyst, the spark that turned passive grazers into active hunters, that transformed the seafloor from a microbial prairie into a battleground. The eye did not just allow organisms to see the world, it changed the world they were seeing. Think about that the next time you catch a glimpse of movement in your peripheral vision. That reflex,
that instant recognition of motion, that subconscious calculation of threat or opportunity, is an inheritance 500 million years old. It is the same neural wiring that allowed a trilobite to detect the shadow of Anomalocaris descending from above. We are the descendants of those who could see danger coming, of those who evolved armor, speed, camouflage, intelligence, anything to survive in a world suddenly full of eyes. The Cambrian Explosion reminds us that evolution is not a ladder. It is an arms race, a conversation between predator and prey, hunter and hunted, written in bone and shell, in the delicate lenses of ancient compound eyes. And in the silent depths of deep time, that conversation continues. The world opened its eyes 540 million years ago, and it has been watching ever since.